Hi, my name is Danny Knox and I'm an independent fundraising consultant. Today I want to talk to you about sponsorship. Charities Aid Foundation UK, through their research, found out that June is the biggest month when people give through sponsorship. Perhaps during those months leading up to it, you know someone that is collecting sponsorship, or perhaps you are someone that is trying to collect sponsorship. So, if there are so many people out there doing it all during the month of June and before and after, how are you going to make yourself stand out? How are you going to hit your target when there's so many people asking for sponsorship at the same time as you? So, let's talk about how you can raise the most money possible for your sponsorship event. Here's a few tips for you. First of all, when you're thinking about what sponsorship event you're going to do, make sure that it's a challenge. People don't want to sponsor people if they think it's going to be easy for them. So you're doing a marathon, you run marathons all the time, then people aren't going to be that interested in doing it. So how can you make that challenge harder for you? Can you run 3 marathons in 3 days? Or can you run the marathon in different shoes or with a backpack on that's really heavy, or do it in a costume? How is it going to be hard? How is it going to be a challenge? And when you're communicating that with people, make sure people know why it's a challenge for you. Perhaps you're a non-runner doing a running event. Well, then talk about how 3 months ago you couldn't even run a mile without getting a stitch. Be talking about why this sponsorship event is a challenge for you. You've got to go big and you've got to go hard on it, okay? It's got to be a challenge for you. Also think about what makes you stand out. Can you do the event perhaps wearing a costume? How else can you be creative that is going to make you stand out from everyone? Or perhaps think about the event you're doing. Lots of people do half marathons and marathons. They do lots of running events. So can you find something that's a bit different? Can you find something that makes people go, oh, I've not heard of that before? So what is going to make you stand out? I've talked before in my other vlogs about making sure that you do communicate the what and the how, but don't forget the why. That's the really important bit. People are motivated by the why. So whatever charity you're running for or you're doing a sponsorship event for, you need to talk about what that charity does and how it makes a difference. But people want to know the story. Why are you doing it? I'm running for Cancer Research UK because last year I was diagnosed with cancer. Because 2 years ago, someone in my family died from cancer. People want to know the story behind it. They want to be moved and they want to be motivated. So by all means, people need to know what their money is doing and how it will make a difference. But they need to know why that's important, that that difference is made, for example. If you're going to use social media, which is a really good way to advertise your sponsorship event, make sure you post about it constantly. You don't want people to forget that you're doing the sponsorship event, to constantly post about it. If you haven't posted about it in the last couple of days, then you're missing out. You need to keep it in people's minds. So when you're training, you're going out, take a picture, talk about it. When you have a slip up, an obstacle, something goes wrong in your training, then talk about it. Tell people that this is getting hard. If it's going well, talk about it, but make sure you're posting pictures and you're posting videos constantly, particularly the week leading up to your sponsorship event. Make sure you are posting about it constantly. You need to pick a good target amount to raise. So don't go for something too astronomical because people will feel, oh, I can't really help out with that. But don't go for something too low because you'll achieve it early on and then people will think, well, there's no need to sponsor you. So think about that amount carefully and choose that amount that you know that you can realistically raise, but perhaps is going to be a bit of a challenge. So you're going to have to push yourself. You can think about incentives in getting people to give. So it might be an event with the more money you get, the more you do something, or people sponsor you per mile or per something. Or things like the person who sponsors you the most gets to decide what costume you wear during the event. Find incentives that people are going to want to give to. That just makes it a bit more attractive. So post about it constantly. But on the other end of the spectrum, you need to remember to ask people personally. When you put it out on social media, you're casting your net really wide. You're covering as many people as possible, and you will get people sponsoring you that way. But the more personal you make it, the more success you will get in a kind of ratio per people you're asking. Because people like to be asked, but people also aren't that good at saying no unless they've got a good reason and they can't sponsor you. Fair enough. So make it personal. Don't just send a blanket, will you sponsor me, out on your social media. Make sure that you are asking people along the way as well. If you've got a form, give it out to them personally, put it into their hands. Round work, you could say, could you just pass this round and let it pass around the office? But if you gave it to every person in the office individually, then again, you're more likely to get more people sponsoring you. So make it as personal as possible. Perhaps send individual emails or text messages with the link in for your online sponsorship page, so people feel that they are being asked personally. It will have a real great impact on how much you're able to raise. And then let's think about the day itself. You need to make sure that you are posting about on the day as much as possible. Don't let people forget that you are doing this sponsorship event. It's not too late to raise money on the day itself, so keep going with it. And the people that have sponsored you will want to know how you're getting on. So post about it. Let people see how you're doing. Just a few other considerations that I'm going to get through quite quickly for you. 1, can you gift aid? The charity that you're running for, are they able to claim gift aid? That's really helpful. It will get you an extra 25% on top of what you've raised. Also look into the government do a scheme where you can gift aid on small donations, like bucket donations. It's up to a certain amount that you can claim gift aid, but that could really help get your money up. Also think about online sponsorship pages. They're really useful. Check out my other vlog about online sponsorship pages, because I've set out loads of different options for you and made it really clear to help you decide which one to use. See if anyone will match fund, perhaps your place of work, or perhaps you know someone that's got a lot of money, you could ask them. So whatever you raise, they commit to doubling it. They might set a certain amount, so they won't go over a certain amount, but will your work, for example, will they match whatever you raise? Because it will just bring in double. Thinking about your sponsorship pages, make sure that the first person you ask to sponsor you, whether on your physical page or your online page, make sure it's a good amount. Giving is contagious, and people will often copy what's been given. So if someone gives £5, when other people go on, they're more likely to give £5 because they will copy that. So get someone you know that will set the tone effectively, that's going to choose a good amount, not astronomical that most people can't achieve, but a good average amount, and then you'll find that people copy that unless they're not able to give that much. And with your sponsorship page, if you've done it on a piece of paper, make sure you collect it within the month. Beyond that, people forget, and then they're less likely to pay up. So the week after your sponsorship event, be chasing people every single day. Can you bring it in tomorrow? Can you bring it in tomorrow? The longer you leave it, the less likely you're going to be able to collect on what everyone has given. So make sure you do that within the month. Make sure you just talk about it constantly, I've said, but perhaps think about if you're sending out emails, just put it at the bottom of your email in the kind of signature line, so it's always there with the link. Think about who are the people that you can ask. Perhaps do a network mapping exercise. Think about everyone. Who could you ask to make sure you don't leave a single person out? And my final tip for you is on the day itself, whatever sponsorship event you're doing, write your name on your outfit, your top or your costume. Write your name, because there may be other people, spectators that you don't know. And if you've got your name written on your outfit, then they are able to shout out your name in encouragement. Go on, you can do it. And it's just something on the day that is going to perhaps just push you and motivate you. So write your name on your outfit so other spectators that are getting excited can be shouting out your name, and that will encourage you. If you've got any questions, just contact me. If you want to find out anything else about what I do, look me up on Facebook and on Twitter. And if I can help you out in any way, I'd love to. Thanks for listening.